Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most misunderstood and challenging chronic pain conditions out there, complex regional pain syndrome, or CRPS. But this isn't just about defining it. Our goal is to give you a real, practical toolkit so you can start taking back control. All right, let's get right into it. So let's start with a question. What happens when pain just doesn't stop? Imagine you sprain your wrist, but months later, instead of getting better, the pain is worse. It's this burning, deep, relentless ache that is just way, way out of proportion to that original injury. What's going on when your body's alarm system gets stuck in the on position? Well, that experience right there. That's the reality for someone with CRPS.
So let's put an official definition on it. CRPS is a chronic pain condition. The key things to remember are the pain is severe, it's continuous, and it's totally disproportionate to whatever kicked it off. And this highlights the most important thing to understand. With CRPS, the problem isn't just about the tissue anymore. The entire pain mechanism, the nervous system itself, has fundamentally changed. It's kind of gone haywire.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the unseen battle of what CRPS actually is. Then, we'll dive into the science, why it's happening. And from there, we'll build your toolkit. We're going to talk about food, movement, and some core lifestyle factors. And finally, we'll map out your path forward.
All right, first up, understanding the true nature of this fight. It's so important to get this. CRPS isn't just a problem in your arm or your leg. It's way bigger than that. It's a systemic issue that involves this complex, messy interaction between your nervous system and your immune system. That's right. Think of it like a war being fought on two fronts. On one side, you have a nervous system that's just gone into overdrive. It's become a runaway train, firing off pain signals for no good reason. And on the other side, you have an immune system that's gotten confused and is actually launching an inflammatory attack on your own body. So if that's the battle, let's look at what's fueling it all. And that brings us to the science behind it. Honestly, understanding why this is happening is the absolute key to figuring out how you can start to fight back. We're going to talk about what scientists call a neuroinflammatory fire. And that's exactly what it feels like, right? A fire that just won't go out. So this fire is really driven by three main things. First, there's neurogenic inflammation. This is where your own nerve endings start dumping inflammatory chemicals into the area, causing all that swelling, redness, and heat. Second, you've got an autoimmune response. Your body is literally making antibodies that attack your own nerve cells. And third, and this one is a huge piece of the puzzle, is central sensitization. This is when your brain and spinal cord get rewired to be on high alert. They amplify every little signal into massive pain. It's the reason why a light touch, even the feeling of clothes on your skin, can feel like absolute agony.
So if the problem is a runaway fire, how do we even begin to put it out? Well, your first and most powerful tool is right there on your plate. It's food. And look, this isn't about some generic eat healthy lecture. This is about using food as a strategic weapon to fight that inflammation.
So think of this as your new grocery list. We want to load up on things that actively calm inflammation. You want lots of colorful fruits and veggies like berries and leafy greens. You want healthy fats, especially from things like olive oil, avocados, and fatty fish like salmon, which is packed with omega-3s. And you definitely want to lean into powerful anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric and ginger.
Now, just as important as what you add to your diet is what you take out. Sugars, refined carbs like white bread, and all those ultra-processed foods, they are literally fuel for that inflammatory fire. So cutting way back on this stuff isn't just a suggestion, it's a core part of the strategy to help your system finally calm down.
But here's a pro tip, and it's a real game changer. It's not just about eating more anti-inflammatory omega-3s. What really, really matters is the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. See, our modern diet is absolutely flooded with omega-6s. They're in everything from processed foods to cheap vegetable oils. They tend to promote inflammation. The goal is to get that ratio closer to a 1-to-1 balance. So that means you have to be just as focused on reducing your omega-6 intake as you are on increasing your omega-3s.
Okay, let's grab our second tool from the toolkit, movement. I know. When you're in that much pain, the absolute last thing on your mind is moving. But for CRPS, we have to completely reframe what movement is.
It's not just for your muscles and joints. It's actually a powerful form of medicine for your brain. This right here, this might be the single most important thing to hear if you have CRPS and you're afraid to move. A pain flare-up during or after you try to do something feels terrifying. It feels like you're causing more damage, but it's not a sign of damage. Think of it as a signal, a message from your hypersensitive nervous system. It's just feedback. The goal isn't to stop altogether. It's to listen to that signal, dial it back a bit, and just gently, consistently keep going. So what does this brain medicine kind of movement actually look like? Well, it starts super gentle. Hydrotherapy, so moving in a pool, is amazing because the water supports your body and makes everything easier. Gentle yoga is also fantastic because it combines movement with that calming breath work. Then you have things like desensitization, where you gradually reintroduce different textures to your skin to retrain your sense of touch. And then there's this really fascinating brain training technique called graded motor imagery. Graded motor imagery, or GMI, is a really direct way to start retraining your brain, and it happens in 3 steps. First, you just look at pictures of, say, hands or feet, and quickly say if they're left or right. It sounds simple, but it actually activates the movement parts of your brain without any actual movement. Step 2, you vividly imagine moving your painful limb, but you imagine it moving perfectly without any pain. And step 3, this is where the magic happens, it's mirror therapy. You use a mirror to literally trick your brain. You watch your healthy limb moving in the mirror, and your brain sees it as your painful limb moving perfectly, helping to rewrite those faulty pain circuits.
All right, let's talk about the foundation that all these other tools get built on, and that's your lifestyle. Specifically, we need to talk about 2 really vicious cycles that can trap people with CRPS. The cycle of pain and sleep, and the cycle of pain and weight. I mean, anyone with chronic pain knows this cycle inside and out. The pain makes it impossible to get good, deep, restorative sleep. But then, not getting that sleep makes your nervous system even more sensitive and lowers your pain threshold. So the next day, the pain is even worse. It is just a devastating feedback loop.
And there's a second one that's just as damaging. The pain makes you inactive, right? Because moving hurts. But that inactivity can lead to weight gain. And that extra weight doesn't just put more stress on your joints, it also increases the overall level of inflammation in your entire body, which then directly fuels the CRPS. And there you have it, another vicious cycle.
But why is sleep so critical? Well, look at this number, 90%. That's roughly the percentage of a hormone called somatinib C, which is vital for nerve and muscle repair, that is produced during our deepest stages of sleep.
Just let that sink in for a second. When CRPS robs you of your deep sleep, it's not just making you tired. It's not just making you cranky. It is actively robbing your nervous system of the main tool it uses to repair itself. It literally prevents your body from healing at a fundamental biological level. This is why making sleep a priority is absolutely non-negotiable.
So we've covered some complex science, we've looked at different strategies. So what does the path forward actually look like? It's really about taking all this information and assembling your own personal toolkit and becoming an active, empowered participant in your own care. So let's put that toolkit together. It really boils down to 4 key things. Number 1, fight the fire with food. Get on that anti-inflammatory diet. 2, use movement as medicine for your brain. Gentle, consistent, smart movement. 3, protect your sleep. Treat it like the most valuable resource you have, because honestly, it is. And number 4, become your own best advocate. Really understand this condition and learn how to work as a partner with your healthcare team.
And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Living with CRPS is unbelievably hard, but you are not a passive victim in this story. You are an active, essential participant in your own healing. This knowledge is power. It gives you tools. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be? How will you start building your toolkit starting today?